Welcome all. Welcome back to Living the Run, your home to everything health and fitness. We are here post-marathon weekend. Excited. I'm your host, Rex Stevens, alongside the clever, the comedic, the at times extremely curious, yet always entertaining, former Olympian, Paul Terek.
Curious? What's this? Why?
Hey, first question, Paul. How those legs feeling after this last weekend? How'd the body hold up? How'd you recover?
Oh, after that marathon, it was great, man. It was terrific. I did a lot of sitting and a lot of walking, and I think the biggest thing that made me feel as good as I do now is the fact that I didn't run the marathon or the half marathon or the 5K. Those are the things that allow me to feel as good as I do at this point. So, yeah.
Sounds like a bitter non-participant.
Yes. Not a bitter non-participant. That's just a fact. The facts are I didn't run. I feel good.
Hey, we've got a great show today. We've got Samantha Pruitt, race director, in here with us right now. We're going to recap this weekend's slow marathon. We will later have both winners, both female winner and male winner. And we should be excited here in San Luis Obispo because both winners, male and female, are slow residents. So we're excited to have Van McCarty and Carin Serba in with us in just a little bit. Let's start with you, Samantha. How'd the race? Did it meet those expectations? And how'd it go this weekend?
It met and exceeded all of our expectations. Yeah, we were very, very excited about how everything went down. And we had an amazing team working with us, 500 volunteers plus a huge team of captains and other people on our staff to help us produce it. And everybody really stepped up to the plate. It went great.
Fantastic. You know, I had a ton of fun my first half marathon ever. So many people came out and supported. It was great to see so many familiar faces. Take us through the weekend because I know you guys had a Saturday event too. I was unable to attend that. But how did Saturday's 5K go? And then take us through Sunday.
Great. Yeah, we actually had an Expo Friday and Packet Pickup Friday. And then Saturday morning we did a 5K for Special Olympics. We had 800 athletes in the 5K, raised over $4,000 for Special Olympics. And then packet pickup and a concert that afternoon. And then the next day, the full and the half marathon as well.
That's pretty awesome. You know, when we look back at some of the history on the slow marathon, I guess that first one they said started in 1973. The late Brian Waterbury got that one going. And just to kind of do a comparison contrast, they had 26 people finish that first marathon back then. Cool. How many did we have finish on Sunday?
We had finishers. We had 800 people register, and we had about, I think it was 627 finishers.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Better luck next year to you 180.
Well, some of them never showed up, so you know it happens. Sometimes people aren't having a good day.
They were apparently following my coaching advice on how to recover and feel better on Monday.
Exactly.
Don't show up.
Oh,
Step one:
bad.
Don't go.
I think many of them took the turn on the half marathon course and just kind of cut it in half.
Well, we did have that happen, and we recognize that's actually not uncommon. People pony up to the line, and then they start with the full, and then they decide halfway or earlier that they're not having a good day, and they turn around at the half. And, it happens. It happens. That's fine.
They know their body.
They know their body, and as long as they tell our timing staff about it, that's fine. We had some people that didn't, and it appeared that they had won the races. They did not win or place otherwise, but we've been going through and correcting those, of course. We appreciate them telling us about their change of heart.
That's so awesome, though. But you know what? We joke about it, but that's great. Like you said, you get into the race, you're 8 miles in or whatever.
Sure. It's not their day.
I feel miserable right now. I'm trying to eat an elephant. It's more than I can chew. I'm going to go ahead and turn this pony around and head back to town.
Right.
You know, my in-laws live up there near Lake Nasameto, and I just was thinking they've been there's a shepherd up there that's been moving a bunch of sheep, and he's always got the sheep going, and every once in a while that sheep seems to cross that imaginary line up the hill, and there you go. You see that Australian shepherd go after that, and the sheep goes back over the line. The shepherd just seems to be able to move those sheep. Did we have any lost sheep this weekend? Anybody lose their way on the course?
We had no lost sheep.
No lost sheep.
No.
Okay.
We had that course. It was it's a USA Track and Field sanctioned event. It was marked impeccably well from start to finish. Plus, we had professional traffic control and course marshals. And if somebody got lost, they were probably taking something to the aid station they shouldn't have been, and I'm not sure how that happened either. But no, nobody got lost.
If you see a man named Don Wright, he's 6'4",
he's still
185 pounds. He was last seen heading southbound. Aid Station 3. Could you just please turn him in? We'd really appreciate it.
We've got maybe a microchip, people like that, instead of timing chip. Yeah.
Like lost luggage.
Hey, so for next year, I imagine this is going to be something, when we look back at the history of this thing, and we had a couple different marathons went with Brian Waterbury doing one, and the late Pete Dorn tried one. It looked like there in the 80s, I guess.
That's right.
Is when that was. But neither of them seemed to be able to get that head of steam to make consecutive marathons, or we got this to just be an annual event. Well, that's what we're shooting for, right? And how are we going to make that happen?
Given. Yeah, and I just want to mention that we inducted both of those gentlemen into our Hall of Fame this year, and we recognized their family members at the event, and that's an important part of our race, too, and recognizing the locals who really have made the running community here happen, over the years. And so that's kind of a cool thing that we did, and we have flags in their honor that we will hang every year, and every year we'll induct a new Hall of Fame member. But, yes, it's going to be an annual event. There's no doubt about it, and how that's going to happen is it's called a ton of work, and we're ready to make it happen. We're doing it.
So what can we expect next year different? Are we going to expand the size? I know,
we are.
2,000 about half marathoners, I believe, were out there.
Right.
And is there room to go bigger? And what do we expect to do next year?
Yeah, well, we've planned that since the get-go. That's how we are one of the contributing factors to determining the course and the venue and using the Madonna property and all that kind of stuff, yeah. We will cap the race again. We do anticipate it's going to sell out for sure for the next year. We're going to be releasing that within the next 30 days, the date and what the cap's going to be set at. But for sure, we're open for expansion and ready to handle that.
Are you open for new events? Because if you guys have a 250 or a 200-meter race, I am in.
How about an around the block, Paul
yeah.
event?
Yeah, if you guys
running
want
backwards around the block.
No, let's not run backwards.
Hamburger in hand.
No, I'm past my glory days. Backwards.
Okay.
I can either run or I can go backwards, not both.
Okay.
Paul's starting to sound like another friend of the Living the Run show. And for those of you who would also like to be friends of the Living the Run show, you can find us on Facebook.com and Twitter.com, as well as livingtherun.com. Former friend I know you guys had in here, Paul, one time was the sheriff of SLO County, Ian Parkinson.
Yeah.
His wife ran our race this year.
Amy ran tremendously. I always like what Amy says. She says that pain is only temporary, but pride is forever.
Nice.
Always thought that was good. But, Paul, you fit right in with Ian, I think. He may have worked just slightly harder than you. He posted, he said, it was a hard day for me. I was holding Amy's fruit and energy drink at various locations along the route. But don't worry, I woke up this morning feeling 100%.
Yeah, he was probably a little sore on the forearms, biceps maybe, but I'm sure he just kind of shook his arms out. He was probably feeling good. His legs, I'm sure, felt great though. His legs felt great.
I think they did. I say that we get you two on the show next year, before next year's, and we'll have maybe a little competition. I mean, it sounds like you guys are about the same level, and moving forward.
We're going to see who can not run the marathon better,
the fastest.
Or the fastest non-half marathon.
Speaking of sunburns, there's no reason for a sunburn on Sunday.
That's right.
Got blessed there.
Man, we had perfect running weather. It was really fascinating to see how everything lined up for us, and that was a huge element. We had planned, and we doubled our water and fluid consumption on the course, of course, preparing for that heat wave that we had, and then day of, it was gone. It was all handled for us.
Fantastic. Boston people were getting beat up health-wise, but it didn't seem like we had any issues there, and the weather was just cooperative at best.
So did you witness any of the worst mistake you can make in the marathon, other than signing up for one, is going to be, when they go out too fast. Did you witness any of that where you see people just, you guys say, go, gun goes off, and you're watching people run like,
Not really. I was at the front, actually, of the race.
Pretty smart crew of people.
Fully. The pack just stayed together, and, that was really nice and steady at the get-go. And then, of course, within a couple miles, the leaders started to break away. But, yeah, there was self-control at the mat.
Man. I used to love going to 5Ks and stuff, and that gun goes off, and you got people running like high knees.
Hey, we're about to interview our winners, male and female winners, here next. But, one thing I always love about these races is there is an element to competition and elite athletes that we're going to talk to in just a little bit. But all that team stuff is phenomenal, too. So many people from Team and Training out there raising the money for blood cancers.
Hey, they raised $500,000 at our event. That is mind-boggling.
Just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
and then, the feel-good story for sure was Team Joseph.
Yeah.
Do you know much about that story? We got a young son with cerebral palsy. His dad started running marathons, and it was just so sweet what he said. He noticed that when his son, he took him outside and put him outside, his son just started to get excited, and then the rougher the ride, the better. And his son has just really enjoyed. They got a great wheelchair to push, and now you got a whole bunch of people together pushing this guy, and I believe it was their third marathon, right?
Right, and there was a group of them out there. There was a whole group of supporters out there with the shirts running together, and other teams too. Madonian had a team, Morrison and Garetano had a team. A lot of local businesses had tons of athletes in their full matching shirts and the whole bit. We love that community spirit. I mean, there's a lot of pride in this town. It really showed.
Maybe next year, an idea, if you're going to have some teams out there, maybe you need to have a 3-person team contest where they can enter their lowest times. That'd be pretty sweet. I'd dig something like that. I wouldn't be on one of those teams, but more importantly, it'd be pretty fun to watch. You get a couple of local businesses
time together.
Yeah, had their times up like a cross-country race. Whoever gets the lowest time wins. That'd be pretty sweet.
Fantastic. The great John Wooden, basketball coach at UCLA, used to say the biggest key to stardom is the rest of the team. And I think that we saw a lot of stars out there
we did.
This last weekend. It was really a tremendous effort by a lot of people coming together. Thanks so much for putting this on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and thanks to everybody in San Luis Obispo who turned out to support us, including you guys, Living the Run.
Living the Run.
Bam.
Well, next on Living the Run, we will have your winners from the slow marathon. Coming up next, both male and female. We saw some very, very, very fast times from these guys. So up next, Living the Run, we'll hear from Van McCarty and Carin Serba, your slow marathon winners.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Friends tell friends about Perry Ford Lincoln in San Luis Obispo. Here's Angela Biles from San Luis Obispo.
At Perry Ford, I just felt instantly comfortable when I walked in.
Here's Gus Best from Paso Robles.
When I traded in the car here, they gave me the most for my car. In fact, I can honestly say it was $1,000 more than anyone else.
Here's Leota Lardner from Templeton.
For service, I always come to Perry. I had a small little accident. Perry picked it up, took care of the damages, and returned it back to me.
Here's Doug Showalter from Morro Bay.
Oh, it was so easy to buy that car. When I came in, everybody at Perry Ford kind of came together and worked the paperwork, and I was in and out of this place very quickly.
And here's William Garwood from Lockwood.
Even though we live 70 miles away, it's right on the highway. You can get right off the highway, right into the dealership, and it's well worth the trip.
For a great experience you'll be telling your friends about, visit Perry Ford Lincoln today on Los Osos Valley Road in San Luis Obispo. Call 544-5200 or click on perryfordslo.com.
Hi, it's Colin Cowart. Here on the Central Coast, when it comes to insurance, there's only two things you need to remember. Morris and Garetano. Since 1885, they've built a tradition of earning your trust twice, at the time of purchase and the time of need. It's the largest insurance agency headquartered in the county. Morris and Garetano offers a broad range of insurance services to businesses and individuals for all your insurance needs: health, liability, auto, life, and workers' comp. Only two things you need to remember: Morris and Garetano.
The U.S. Open returns to Olympic Club in San Francisco June 11th through the 17th. Witness the game's best players and golf's toughest tests. Tickets can be purchased now at the U.S. Open website. The U.S. Open has sold out 25 years in a row, and this year's championship promises to be no exception. Get your tickets while they're available. The U.S. Open Golf Championship, June 11th through the 17th at the Olympic Club in San Francisco. Don't miss a single shot. Purchase your tickets now at usopen.com. That's usopen.com.
This is really cool, Dad.
Yep, nothing better than camping out under the stars.
You think there's any bears out here?
I don't think we have to worry about that. Look, there's the Big Dipper.
Wow, cool.
At Four Seasons Outfitters, they can help you create an outdoor family adventure.
Hey, can we try out my new fishing pole tomorrow?
Sure. Hey, want to roast another marshmallow?
Oh, yeah.
For camping and hiking equipment, or fishing and hunting gear, Four Seasons is your hometown outdoor outfitter.
Did you and Grandpa go camping when you were little?
We sure did.
Did you see any bears?
Nope, no bears.
You'll find backpacks and tents, freshwater and deep-sea fishing equipment, campfire cooking supplies, guns and ammo, everything you'll need for your next outdoor adventure.
Hi, guys.
Hi, honey.
Oh, hi, Mom.
So how are my two campers doing? Do you want me to leave the porch light on?
Maybe. Just in case there's a bear.
Even if it's in your own backyard. Four Seasons Outfitters, your outdoor adventure headquarters for more than 25 years. 432 Higuera, San Luis Obispo.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back to Living the Run. I'm your host, Rex Stevens, alongside former Olympian Paul Terek. We are post-marathon, first inaugural marathon, San Luis Obispo, and we got both winners in the studio. Privileged to sit in front of elite athletes such as these. Van McCarty came in at a scary fast 2:38 on that course. Carin Serba won the female at 3:16. Let me say this. I got the privilege of watching the start of this race. I sat there on Monterey, the corner of Monterey in California, which was the first turn. A lady looked at me, and she says, "What is that guy doing? What is he thinking?" And I said, "He's thinking winning." She was talking about none other than Van McCarty, who did, in fact, win the first slow marathon, 2:38. Congratulations, Van.
Oh, thanks a lot, Rex. I appreciate it.
Well, Van, you've got a obvious history and experience on different courses. You're an Ironman triathlete, and you've done a lot of different terrain, if you will. How does slow marathons compare, and how do you think this first course for these guys?
Well, personally, I thought the course was perfect. I don't think they could have made a better course. That's because I train mostly on trails, and so I do a lot of hill running. So for me, the hills were exactly what I was looking for. Most of the other runners probably were hoping for something a little bit more tame, if you will. So that was right up my alley. But the time that I ran was faster than I expected on the course, so I was just on a really good day.
Yeah, pleasantly happy. How much do you think the weather played into that? Do you like running in that cooler weather, or are you one of those hot guys?
Well, the weather was ideal for running. I really can't complain about that. I do like warmer weather, so if it had been like the day before where it was 70 degrees, it would have been fine with me. It would have been a little bit slower, but I have always done well in the warmer weather, so it's the really cool stuff that I just do poorly in.
Well, did you ever look back in that race, because you were flying there at the beginning? Everyone was trailing you. Was there ever any jostling going out there on the course, or was it start to finish?
Yeah, it was pretty much start to finish. I had no intention of going out by myself, and I made that turn, and I didn't hear anybody behind me, and I just kind of kept running, and I knew what pace I wanted to go, and I wasn't going that much quicker, so I just kept it going and got up Johnson. And I didn't look back at all. I just kept my focus on the pace. The only time I looked was at the turnaround on Orchard Road, just to see how far back the other people were. And at that point, second place was still maybe a minute back. So it was still really close at that point. And so I just kept focused and just kept going along.
Fantastic. Well, let's bring in the female winner here, Carin Serba, with a very fast 3:16 on the course. Talk to us about your feelings on the course. Are you a more of a hilly runner? This was my first half marathon, and the thing that seemed to be the resounding talk was the hills. I think in this area, so many people do that city-to-sea run, which is basically just a gradual decline the whole way. This course, much, much different. How did it fit your running style and your training?
Definitely fit my running style pretty good. I like to run hills a lot. Find me on the mountain quite a bit throughout the week, and Bishop's Mountain, all of that. So I do a lot of hills and love hiking and love getting out there. So I thought it was a really good course.
So do you guys feel that being local, being from the area, really helped you guys compared to people who might have come from someplace in the Midwest or someplace up north?
Oh, I think definitely it did. After the race, I was talking to the second place male, and he said he was doing great until he got back onto Orchid, back onto the rollers, and he said those last few miles of the hills just killed him. Because like I said, at the turnaround, he was maybe only a minute back, and then over the last 10 miles, he dropped another 3 minutes behind me. So he really struggled on the last rollers. I think it just took the toll on everybody, all the ups and the downs.
Now, you said you started out, and it was kind of like almost start to finish. You were leading. Was there ever a time where you thought, maybe I'm doing something a little wrong here? Did I maybe take a wrong turn? Am I going to? I mean, seriously, because there's times when you don't expect to be in the lead, and if all of a sudden there's nobody around, and you're ahead of everybody else, you're kind of thinking, wait a second, maybe everybody else knows something that I don't know here. Did that ever cross your mind? Or?
It did quite a bit cross my mind when I was going out there, and I felt pretty comfortable. I knew it was hard, and I expected a hard effort. And so there were times when I was like, well, maybe I should be running with somebody. And I'm like, then you start second guessing yourself later on, and everybody has little bad patches, if you will. And for me, it was about mile 16 or 17. I just struggled for a couple miles trying to keep focus, and then just kind of mentally readjusted, and it went well. But I felt my pace was what I was looking to run it at, so I just kind of let it roll and see what would happen.
Carin, how'd the race go for you? Did you go in expecting that time at 3:16? Did you expect to win? And where were you along the way? I know that you were competing up there with the your second, third, fourth, fifth place men. So was there some jostling along the way there? Were there any other women that were up with you? How'd your race go?
My race went pretty well. I was definitely not expecting to come in at 3:16. I was just hoping to finish. It was my first marathon, so.
First marathon.
Yeah.
First place.
Yeah.
If you should just retire, you can be batting 1,000 for the marathon.
Paul Terek, is that how it went for your first decathlon?
Yes. No, it wasn't. Second place.
Second place. Okay. All right. Talked about the race here, for you too, Carin, with regards to where did it start to hurt? Like Van was saying, it seems as though there's always mental challenges somewhere along the road there. Where was it for you, and what were maybe the little strategies you used to get through those hurdles and get that second or third wind?
Well, I definitely tried to pace myself. I ran with a partner, Mondo Espinoza, and he just finished his ultra about 2 weeks ago, and he just really made sure that I got my water every station, and we paced the whole time, and we're talking and just kind of having a good time for the first half of the race. Around mile 13 is when it really kind of kicked in that, okay, all right, now I've got to get serious. And then definitely mile 20 was really when it started to kick in that, wow, okay, this is 26.2 miles.
Once you make it to mile 13, it's more of a what is that, necessity is the mother of invention kind of thing. Well, I'm 13 miles away, I got to get back home, so there's no bowing out at that point. But time-wise, did you feel that was right where you wanted to be, maybe a little quicker, maybe a little slower? What do you think about that?
I definitely feel like I'm capable of going quicker now that I've done my first marathon. I know what it's all about, and I'm excited to kind of take it to the next step and see how I can progress.
You're listening to Living the Run. You can find us on livingtherun.com. We're here on ESPN Radio 1280. Follow us on Facebook as well as on Twitter. We are currently talking to your two winners of the slow marathon, Van McCarty and Carin Serba. Carin, as you were going there, along, and you had that 7:30 pace. One thing that's very interesting that I thought you said, Nicole Hagobian, who's an elite marathoner, came in last week, and she said that first 10 miles should feel relatively easy. Sounds like you took that strategy. You came in mentally prepared for that. Is that how it went? And is that what you would do again in that second marathon you take on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of crucial to pace yourself in the beginning because it really all comes down to the final half of it. That
final stretch. Well, let's talk a little bit about when you're training like this. And Van, I was thinking, you're running a 6:04 pace, which is just frighteningly fast. It takes just a ton of hours, a ton of training. How do you do it? I know you're a working man. I know you got a family, couple kids. How does that whole balance thing work?
It's a juggling act. It really is, not to take it literally, but you have to really make it work. For the marathon, I kind of backed off some of my cycling workouts I would do to kind of focus more on recovery on the runs so I could have harder running workouts. But, 4 days a week I'm at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning to get some morning workouts in before work, and then I can usually squeeze an hour in at lunch. And that's predominantly my workouts, then a couple things on the weekend. So, for me, a big part of it being, working, having two kids, and obviously a family. And my wife is incredibly lenient with my time. She's ever since she's known me, I was doing something, whether it was racing bikes, triathlons, Ironman, something. So she's always known I'm training 20 hours a week doing something. It's over the years, it's just progressed when I could do it. It used to be more time during the day and after work, where now I try and cram as much of it in before I actually get to work and go from there. So it's all about maximizing your time and just really making the workouts count for what you're going to do.
Well, your wife sounds like she's got something in common with Paul's wife.
or she just wants to get him out of the house. Like
That
my
could
wife
be
does.
too.
Like,
That could be also.
Dear, you go ahead, you run. It's fine. Hour ago, you know what? You should probably go for an hour and a half.
I don't want you around if you're not running.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I think anybody that has kids can attest to the fact that that probably doesn't hurt your endurance. It doesn't hurt your endurance chasing those kids around and trying to keep up with them. I've realized mine's almost 15 months now, and I am in the best shape of my life. I couldn't keep up with them, so it's at least I'm staying in shape that way.
Hey, one thing all our fitness fans out there are interested in hearing and listening to always often revolves around food. Take us through both your guys' dinner meals the night before. What were you eating? And then what'd you have that morning, 5 a.m., what have you? We had an early 6 a.m. Time. What'd you guys eat, and what's the food of choice?
Want to go first?
That night we had a nice pasta dinner, just really simple olive oil, veggies. We're vegetarians, so a little bit of tofu and just kind of kept it really light. And then the next morning, I love almond butter. I live off of it, and a little bit of banana and granola, and called it good. And I was out the door. So.
Fantastic. What'd you have, Van?
Well, this is always scary when people ask me this question because I'll be honest, but I'm gonna put my disclaimer on. I don't recommend this unless you've tried it for many years. My just like my training routine, it definitely is not cookie cutter. Night before is usually actually pretty light. If I'm gonna do more carbohydrates and protein, I'll usually do that 2 days before, just to make sure everything's digested. And like Carin, we pretty much stick to plant-based foods predominantly. So for me, the night before it was like pita bread with sunflower seed butter and some jam, some cereal. Pretty light on the fruits and vegetables just to keep the stomach happy. And then, which makes my wife crazy, I'm not a morning breakfast person. So with this race, I would have normally probably taken a gel, but it was so early. Just had some coffee. And then I had a couple of gels on the course and called it a day. So like I said, that's my disclaimer. I don't recommend it. You definitely should take in nutrition before a race or a big event. I'm saying that right now. It just it works better for me if I do it along the course.
Ken Cooper, expert physiologist out of Dallas, Texas, is probably turning over right now. He's going to roll. He's not in his grave, but roll in his grave. This is just not ideal nutrition. But let me tell you something. You won the race.
It's just funny. I think, if I'm going to go on a trip to L.A., it's like I don't just get in my car and drive to L.A. I make sure I get a little bit of gas before I get on the road. This guy is like, no, we're good. Let's go. Let's just go. New Mexico, we can make it.
Just a little stimulant, little coffee. It kind of reminds me, I went over to Paul's house one time when he was training, getting ready for 2008 before he had a little accident on his knee. Eating big bowls of, what was that, Fruity Pebbles? Or was that Fruit Loops?
Pebbles,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm a cereal. I am a cereal fanatic. I don't know what it's been. Maybe it's just the Michigan upbringing, but a bowl of cereal for breakfast or two, maybe one for lunch, a couple at night, maybe before I go to bed. I love cereal. It's good.
One of the most common things.
Look at those cartoon figures. They can't be bad for you.
Exactly.
They cannot be bad for you.
One of the most common things recommended by healthcare practitioners is to eat the rainbow every day, and Paul's rainbow just tends to be a little bit different.
Yeah, it is.
Than everyone else's.
How many colors are not in Fruit Loops? How many colors?
They're all there, Paul.
Yes. That's right.
But I'm not sure that's what they were.
Lucky Charms
we're talking
marshmallows.
about.
There's a rainbow on the box. There's a rainbow in the box. Yeah. What do you guys want? I mean, you guys are nitpicky. That's your problem. You healthy people, you're nitpicky.
Real quick, Van. Real quick, you've run a few more marathons. What's your favorite course you've ever run?
Honestly, I would say this is my favorite course by far. Not just because it's local and I knew every mile of it. It's just a beautiful rolling course. I mean, I've done other ones that sound like they're going to be great, like San Diego and Carlsbad, but half the time you're running on a freeway or through a city, and it's just not very stimulating to run through that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And you've been in Kona. We'll talk maybe a little bit more about that here coming after the break. I also want to talk shoes with you guys. It's got to be about the shoes. So when we return on Living the Run, more from your slow marathon winners, Van McCarty and Carin Serba.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
There are many debt relief plans and scams out there. So if you find yourself with $10,000 or more in credit card debt and you just want the facts about legitimate debt relief solutions available to you, then call American Credit Card Solutions for a free informational kit that will tell you about your options in simple, easy-to-understand terminology. The kit is free, the shipping is free, and there is absolutely no sales pitch, just the facts, sent directly to you in the mail. This free informational kit can be mailed to you today so you can examine all the debt relief options available in the comfort of your home with no one pressuring you to make a quick decision. Call 800-912-9955 and ask for your free kit. That's 800-912-9955. This is a first-come, first-serve offer and kits are limited. So call right now for your free debt informational kit. 800-912-9955. That's 800-912-9955.
In a world full of artificial this, genetically modified that, and virtually simulated everything, there's thankfully still an appreciation for the real deal. I'm referring, of course, to the BMW 3 Series, the one car and driver named to their 10 best list a record-breaking 20 consecutive years. The one that's faster and more powerful than the A4, the C300, and the IS250. The one that includes no-cost maintenance while those others do not. And the only one that deserves to be called the ultimate driving machine. So celebrate the real deal. The 3 Series at a BMW Center today. Claim based on published 3 Series sedan and competitors 0 to 16 horsepower. For ultimate service details, call 1-888-3114-BMW.
Come purchase one today at BMW of Santa Maria, the Highline dealer on the Central Coast. Online at bmwsm.com.
Michelob Ultra asked, what's your Ultra life?
Climbing pyramids in Guatemala.
We got married in the run-through wedding chapel.
A zip line ride over a 400-foot canyon. About 25 feet from me was a black bear.
The Ultra life is different for everyone, but there's one common thread. It's about getting out and having fun. And Michelob Ultra helps you do just that. With one exceptional and smooth taste, only 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, Michelob Ultra is perfectly balanced to fit your life and all you want to get out of it. What's your Ultra life? Tell us on Facebook.com/Michelob Ultra and live life to the Ultra. Here's Wes from Chicago.
Every year, 16 of my college buddies get together for a golf bonanza.
And Amy from San Diego.
I just recently hiked the Grand Canyon.
Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra Light Beer. 95 calories, 2.6 grams carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0 grams fat for 12-ounce serving. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back to Living the Run, your home for everything health and fitness. You can find us at livingtherun.com, on Facebook, Twitter. We're sitting here with your slow marathon winners, Van McCarty, Carin Serba, running extremely fast times. And before the break, we said it's the shoes. It's got to be the shoes. And in your case, Van, it did look like the shoes. Those are some fantastic-looking, incredible shoes. The story on this I read, Van, is that you were in Kona, Hawaii, 2 days before Ironman Triathlon, and you did something that virtually everyone tells you not to do, and you switched shoes, and you went to the Newtons. And it turns out you ran your fastest time in the marathon during a triathlon. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. That was back in 2007, and I qualified for Hawaii back in 3 months earlier in up in Coeur d'Alene. I was running in just regular running shoes, and right after that, a week after, I ended up with a stress fracture, and so I had to take a month and a half off of running. So then it's just like, well, get ready for Hawaii. Don't even think about running. Just get healed. And I'd seen Newtons before several months back when they just came out on the market. And I like the concept. They look good. And I tried them on. They felt good. But I want to see what happens with them because they're brand new. I don't want to just jump into them. And so 2 days before the race, I went to the booth, was talking to Danny Abshire, one of the head guys there. And I put them on and just ran on them for like 2 or 3 minutes. Said, these shoes are great. I go, yeah, let's get a pair, and I'm going to wear them Saturday. And he looked at me. He's like, no. I go, no, I'm going to wear them. He's like, it takes a while to get used to them and stuff. I go, well, they're no worse than the shoes I have now, so I'm just going to, and yeah.
The shoes I have now break my bone.
Yeah, and so I ended up running a 3-hour marathon in Hawaii, the Ironman, and I felt great after the race. Nothing hurt, no blisters, and I've been a convert ever since. And so, yeah, since 2007, that's pretty much all I run in are different varieties of the Newtons.
I'm sorry, I'm out of the loop. I'm more short. I'm track and field short events here. What are Newtons?
Talk about Newtons.
Newtons.
I only know fig Newtons.
Exactly.
Shoe Newtons.
Well, it all revolves around Isaac Newton's concept. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So
stretch reflex.
Yeah. So unlike my little comfy shoes, so your basic shoe, they have what's called a zero drop. So heel to forefoot basically is completely flat, hence like your foot is, so like a natural running position. Except in the forefoot, where the ball of your foot is, where ideally you want to land for an efficient stride, there's 4 what are called lugs. They're about 2 millimeters deep, and they come out of the shoe. So like if you walk, you feel like you have a rock on your foot because you kind of bump.
Rock over that.
But when you run, if you land there, they actually kind of compress and they kind of spring back a little bit. So it's almost like a little cushion when you run. And so it's the concept is you land with a zero heel toe, you stay off your heel, and you land on the forefoot, and it just cushions you when you land, and then brings you back up again.
Wile E. Coyote had a pair of shoes like that.
I think he did.
Didn't work out well for him though.
No, but those were Acme's. You gotta get away from the Acme stuff.
Newton bought the idea and then made it better.
And then they made them yellow.
Good idea. Very good idea. See, Wiley, you should have stuck to it. You could be making incredible marathon shoes, but alas, your goal was only the Roadrunner and not the marathon.
But Wiley was an inventor. He had some very promising
but he didn't
inventions
follow
there.
Through.
No.
His goal was the Roadrunner, and that was it. And he didn't think he could have said, you know what? I can buy another Roadrunner when I patent this shoe, but he didn't do it.
I just think in the commercial for Van McCarty pushing triathlons and marathons is, hey, wake up, don't eat, take a stimulant, and change to brand new shoes. and you are insured success at your next event. Fantastic
Carin,
stuff.
will you be fasting before your next marathon and wearing big springs on your feet?
I think I might be.
She's going to show like 2 pogo sticks taped to her legs like, oh man, it worked for him. Man, I'm running fast. I'm like a gazelle.
Hey, talk about the science there then, Carin, behind the way you pick your shoes. Is Sir Isaac Newton your guy too? Is that the science you follow?
Eeny, meeny, miny, and mo.
I wish my answer was more impressive, but actually,
it's
no.
It's at 5 a.m. It was dark, and I just picked the first thing I felt.
Pretty much.
She's like, I had a stiletto and I had a pump. I had one of each. I didn't know.
I replaced my shoes. Oh gosh, I'm in need of shoes, but I replaced them at the City to See You's last time, and I got Brooks, and I've been running on those. I've had a lot of success with them. I just go for something that's a little bit flexible, light, not too much support, not too overbearing, and yeah, it seemed to work out for me so far.
In case you haven't heard major corporate sponsors, she is in need of shoes.
Yes.
A marathon. If you or somebody you know is involved with one of these apparel companies, you know how to get a hold of her.
Get this girl some shoes now. Sponsor her. First race, first place. Pretty impressive.
She's nervous to run a second race now because she doesn't want to ruin the streak now. She's like,
one and done.
Yeah.
One and done.
Right.
Hey, let's talk a little bit more about. We talked about what we were eating or actually not eating before the race. What were we doing in a recovery fashion post race? There, I was a little bit surprised to see the beer drinking and the wine consumption there in the tents, and it's almost like going to Kennedy Fitness. I think a lot of those people get down there after their workout and get a beer on tap. What was it for you, Van, in the recovery world?
Yeah, as tempting as those can be, usually stay away from that at least right after the race, because if you're thinking about recovering, it might taste good, but it's not going to do yourself a whole lot of favors. So for me, especially after hard training efforts and runs, really try and get something in, usually more fluid based, since it's the quickest thing to get into your system. Actually, fluid nutrition, fluid drink is really good. the local guy. I mean, they went to Cal Poly, designed it. David and Richard, they're got some good stuff there. But anything to get some carbohydrates and protein, something that's easy to digest. If nothing else, some fruits are always good, whatever you can get. But important thing is to get in just some good old nutrients that you can easily digest.
You have any other strategies in those either that day or the days following? Anything from compression socks to ice baths to massage to even little cross training maybe that next day where we get in and we say, hey, we got to get those legs moving still, but we maybe won't run. So do we hit the bike? Do we get in the pool? What are we doing those next couple days?
This goes back to don't recommend it. It works for me type of a scenario. As you can tell, just like after the race, I have the compression socks on. I really think I've started wearing it about the past year or so, and I really think they help just keep the blood flowing. Figure worst case, they're not going to hurt. To keep those on, I took quite a bit of ribbing after the awards ceremony with them on. People thought they looked really cute on the news and everything, but they work, so I go with them.
Was that your wife induced there?
No,
okay.
No. As long as I don't wear my Vibrams out in public, we're good on that. She doesn't like me out in those shoes. But, I got in Monday. I was, back at Kennedy doing a little cycling and swimming for the next couple days. And it's, people ask, well, you just ran a marathon. You can't do that. You're And, staying off the feet I think is the most important thing because it's the impact that's really going to, tweak your body. So just non-weight bearing stuff, just enough to get the blood flowing through the body. No intent, the intensity's low. So as long as I figure if it's easy, works.
Yeah, that's the one thing that a lot of decathletes I knew. It was really funny. They were elite level athletes, and as soon as the decathlon was over, they would probably sit down for the next 2 or 3 days and do nothing. Well, the idea is, like you said, low impact, but you got to get the blood flowing. You got to. That's what's going to promote healing and flush all the impurities out of the system. You got to get blood flowing, and these guys would go. They'd finish the 1500, head back to the hotel, and sit in the hotel until their plane left 2 days later. What are you guys doing? Oh, I feel so bad. I don't understand why.
Hey, you're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280. We're sitting in with your slow marathon winners, Van McCarty and Carin Serba. Carin, tell us real quick about your recovery, what you do both that day and the following 1 or 2 days, and what you're doing this week.
Well, I did kind of hit a little bump in the road. I got the flu a couple of days ago. But aside from that, on Sunday, right after the race, I just immediately, I didn't stop. I kind of want to avoid freezing up. So my fiance and I got on our bikes, rode around town, went and hit up the hot tub at the Elks Lodge, and just kind of kept moving, still maintaining a healthy diet throughout the day. Also have a lot to thank for Bikram Yoga. I swear by it, and that kind of keeps me moving and keeps me running all the time. So I do that a lot, and that's probably what I'll continue to do for the rest of the week. So.
Fantastic point. They've done many, many studies now on stretching after races and seeing if that stretching, isolated stretching, makes any difference on soreness and recovery of those muscles. What they found is in general it doesn't, but things like yoga, where now the movements become much more dynamic in the studio, those yoga studios, we're seeing a really nice change in soreness and a much faster recovery along with dynamic stretching. So Bikram Yoga, phenomenal. All types of yoga to get that dynamic movement to, again, heal it up. Well, hey, let me say thanks, guys, for coming into the studio. Again, congratulations on this first slow marathon. You guys are the first winners ever of this slow marathon, and it's just a fantastic accomplishment. We appreciate all the tips you've given to the listeners. I know the listeners have loved hearing from you, and good luck next year. Real quick, what's on the race calendar for you, Van?
Wildflower triathlon next weekend, and then Ironman in July.
Ironman in July, and then how about you, Carin?
I think I'm going to do the Miracle Mile that's coming up from Cayucas, or from Morro Bay to Cayucas.
May 12th?
Yep. Try and do that one, and then, I don't know, I'm going to find something.
Who knows what the future holds? They're still looking. She's still looking for that sponsor, Paul.
Yeah. I know. I'm waiting. If you guys know, if anybody knows anybody in the apparel business, let's know.
Hey, thanks again, guys, and congratulations. When we return on Living the Run, Paul and I will wrap up the show with tips and takeaways.
You're listening to Living the Ride on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Friends tell friends about Perry Ford Lincoln in San Luis Obispo. Here's Angela Biles from San Luis Obispo.
At Perry Ford, I just felt instantly comfortable when I walked in.
Here's Gus Best from Paso Robles.
When I traded in the car here, they gave me the most for my car. In fact, I can honestly say it was $1,000 more than anyone else.
Here's Leota Lardner from Templeton.
For service, I always come to Perry. I had a small little accident. Perry picked it up, took care of the damages, and returned it back to me.
Here's Doug Showalter from Morro Bay.
Oh, it was so easy to buy that car. When I came in, everybody at Perry Ford kind of came together and worked the paperwork, and I was in and out of this place very quickly.
And here's William Garwood from Lockwood.
Even though we live 70 miles away, it's right on the highway. You can get right off the highway, right into the dealership, and it's well worth the trip.
For a great experience you'll be telling your friends about, visit Perry Ford Lincoln today on Los Osos Valley Road in San Luis Obispo. Call 544-5200 or click on perryfordslo.com.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Here on the Central Coast, when it comes to insurance, there's only two things you need to remember. Morris and Garitano. Since 1885, they've built a tradition of earning your trust twice, at the time of purchase and the time of need. It's the largest insurance agency headquartered in the county. Morris and Garitano offers a broad range of insurance services to businesses and individuals for all your insurance needs: health, liability, auto, life, and workers' comp. Only two things you need to remember: Morris and Garitano.
The U.S. Open returns to Olympic Club in San Francisco June 11th through the 17th. Witness the game's best players and golf's toughest tests. Tickets can be purchased now at the U.S. Open website. The U.S. Open has sold out 25 years in a row, and this year's championship promises to be no exception. Get your tickets while they're available. The U.S. Open Golf Championship, June 11th through the 17th at the Olympic Club in San Francisco. Don't miss a single shot. Purchase your tickets now at usopen.com. That's usopen.com.
This is really cool, Dad.
Yep, nothing better than camping out under the stars.
You think there's any bears out here?
I don't think we have to worry about that. Look, there's the Big Dipper.
Wow, cool.
At Four Seasons Outfitters, they can help you create an outdoor family adventure.
Hey, can we try out my new fishing pool tomorrow?
Sure. Hey, want to roast another marshmallow?
Oh, yeah.
For camping and hiking equipment or fishing and hunting gear, Four Seasons is your hometown outdoor outfitter.
Did you and Grandpa go camping when you were little?
We sure did.
Did you see any bears?
Nope, no bears.
You'll find backpacks and tents, freshwater and deep-sea fishing equipment, campfire cooking supplies, guns and ammo, everything you'll need for your next outdoor adventure.
Hi, guys.
Hi, honey.
Oh, hi, Mom.
So how are my two campers doing? Do you want me to leave the porch light on?
Maybe. Just in case there's a bear.
Even if it's in your own backyard. Four Seasons Outfitters, your outdoor adventure headquarters for more than 25 years. 432 Higuera, San Luis Obispo.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back to Living the Run, your show for everything health and fitness. What must I say, Paul? But whoo, long show. I'm feeling a bit fatigued after that slow marathon. We got these elite runners in here. That energy was it's exhausting.
I don't know why you think I need to run. I mean, we have these people in here. I live vicariously through them. I mean, I feel bad for my son later in life, but I mean, they talked about running that 26 miles, and my calf started to get a little tight. You know, my back was getting a little sore. I don't need to do it. They've lived it. I can dream with them.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit fitter after seeing them.
It was funny. I forgot to mention it when you talked about the 5K. One of the operators I work with, she worked a night shift, got off at 7 in the morning, drove to the race, ran the 5K, and then went home and went to sleep. Tough, super, super tough. I couldn't believe she told us that, and I was like, unbelievable. And she ran under 30 minutes too.
Dedication.
Yeah, she was committed. She said she was doing it, and I said, "You're better than I am." I mean, that's not much. That's not like a very big compliment, but it's still it was impressive.
After listening to this show, I think she knows she's better than you are, Paul.
Well, I think she probably knew that beforehand.
Hey, I just wanted to get a quick promotion out. We've got a few events on the horizon for you runners. Carin mentioned it. She's going to be participating in Miracle Miles for Kids. This is going to be happening on Saturday, May 12th, put on by the Family Care Network. This will be their 9th annual Miracle Miles for Kids. This is a benefit for foster and high-needs children and families. 10K race course along the water's edge from Morro Rock to Morro Bay and then to Cayucas Pier. One of the most beautiful stretches of beach in California. Unique race and a great race. Paul, can we expect to see you there?
I might be surfing. That's about the only chance you get. Wait, this is the Miracle Mile, huh?
The Miracle Miles for Kids.
Oh, miles. They tacked that little S on it. You got to read the fine print, but you guys might bite off more than you can chew. Like, a mile? I can handle this. And then you show up, and they're like, okay, it's just from this rock here to that pier over there.
Paul gets easily confused when we go from the kilometers to the miles. That 10K conversion was a tough one in this
When he said
case.
2 millimeters, I was like, what? What is that? How far is that? Is that like a fathom or something? I don't know. A millimeter? Have we switched yet? You commies.
Hey, another event that's happening this weekend. If you make that beautiful drive up Highway 1, we've got that Big Sur Marathon. That's a challenging course as well, very hilly. Beautiful course up there, and I know there's a lot of locals competing in that. And then, like Van said, coming right there in May, I believe May 4th through 6th, is your Wildflower Triathlon, the annual Wildflower Triathlon, a big event. They've got a few different courses, mountain bike, Olympic, and that long course there. So those are just a few things up in the horizon. Paul, what do we got for tips and takeaways? What did we learn today? What can we take home and maybe utilize tomorrow?
I think the biggest thing he talked about was definitely not diet beforehand, but I think the big thing he talked about is just staying active after a hard workout, getting out, being active, not doing anything stupid, not doing anything really exhausting, but just getting the blood flowing.
Absolutely. What I'm going to take away again is what Carin said, and she talked about that first part of the race just being real easy and being real relaxed, and I think that's one thing that seems to detract a lot of fitness fans and runners and cyclists and so forth from wanting to keep going, because oftentimes they go out there a little too quick. That pain comes real early, and it's hard to get through that, and they never feel like they can stay out there for a long time. So nice advice from our female winner, Carin Serba, again running a 3:16 out there in her very first marathon. Pretty impressive, huh, Paul?
Yeah, congratulations to her. That's an incredible feat.
Absolutely. Thanks again to Van McCarty, our male winner, ran in, like I said, a scary fast 2:38 on that hilly course. That's a 6:04 pace. Again, thanks again to Samantha Pruitt for coming in, stopping by, director of the first slow marathon, and gosh, it looks like we're going to have this thing to come.
Yeah, congratulations to her. I know she was, you could tell she was a little nervous before the race, waiting to see how it would pan out. I think it was the first big one she's organized, and she did an incredible job. I've heard nothing but good things about it. And, I look forward to seeing it again next year, and hopefully it'll be a little bit bigger. Maybe she can turn it into a national race.
Hey, next week on the show, we're going to have Jamie Baker from Miracle Miles for Kids. Tune in for that. We got livingtherun.com. Follow us there, Facebook and Twitter if you're not a fan. Look forward to hearing from you next week on Living the Run.